Hello, I'm your host, Nick Jackson, and I'm at the small mammal house at the Philadelphia Zoo. I came here to see a slow loris.
A slow what?
This is the tale of a primate, cousin of monkey and ape, who moves too slowly to notice so that his prey won't escape. Slow loris.
The small mammal house is poorly lit and kind of shabby. Little kids are running around, poking the glass enclosures. Most are empty, but a few have a little furry animal crawling around on a fake branch. I walk up and down the building a couple times, but I don't see the slow loris anywhere.
Southeastern portions of Asia and islands like Mindanao form nycticebus Kukang's range, where the conditions allow. Rainforest fast disappearing harbors the insects he eats. Those that his cousins find stinky, he just considers as treats. Slow loris.
Before the trip, I was able to talk to the Philadelphia Zoo archivist. They found the record of the zoo's first loris and sent it to me. Eventually, I find a zoo employee in a lime green t-shirt who brings me to another zoo employee in a lime green t-shirt who brings me to another zoo employee who comes from the back and explains the loris's partner has died, and then she went into a depression, and she's currently a little sick, so she has to stay in the back. And they're sorry, but I'm not allowed back there. Here's the short entry from the Philadelphia Zoo Annual Board of Directors Report from 1889.
On the 23rd of January, another interesting addition was made to the collection of lemurs, a specimen of the beautiful Javan loris, received by purchase.
May 5th, 1889. About 3 months later, the loris died.
Too slow to swing through the branches, he creeps along them at night. Retinas backed with reflectors, optimize minimal light. Slow metabolic production leaves him with no heat to spare. Though he resides in the tropics, he needs thick fur, not just hair. Slow loris.
I leave the small mammal house disappointed. The zoo gives me a refund, and I drive home. So I guess here's where I'll explain. I had this idea. I was going to make a full-length, fully researched radio documentary. Submit it to This American Life or something. It was going to be about this ancient, mysterious creature, only recently studied at all, on the verge of extinction. About unimaginable environmental destruction, illegal pet trade, animal abuse, these popular YouTube videos that serve almost as advertisements for having one as a pet, about globalization and, I guess I never totally wrapped my head around a concise story. For a bunch of reasons, the documentary idea is on hold, but I was able to speak to a bunch of really smart and passionate and interesting people. I want to thank the loris expert Helena fitch-snyder, who talked with me about establishing the country's first ever loris breeding/research colony that was at the San Diego Zoo, and about doing field research in Vietnam. And she also shared this story about being bitten by a loris.
One night, one of my lorises got out of the cage, and I heard something crash, so I woke up in the middle of the night and realized, oh, I better put him back in the cage. And when I did that, he bit me, and I cleaned up the wound the best I could and went back to sleep. But when I woke up the next morning, my whole arm was swollen. I went to the doctors, of course, had no idea what a loris was, how to treat it, thought maybe I should get rabies vaccine. Anyway, he gave me antibiotics, and fortunately, the swelling went down, and I didn't have any long-term effects.
Thanks also to the PhD candidates at Oxford Brookes University, Stephanie Poindexter and Kathleen Reinhardt. Stephanie taught me about the loris's use of its hands.
One bit of what I'm working on is looking at their locomotor behavior. In all of these other primates and in people, you kind of look at how they develop with time. When it comes to gouging or being vertical on trees, from the young slow lorises to the adults, they're all able to do it.
Kathleen taught me about the loris and hibernation and climate change.
Torpor is a type of hibernation that doesn't go as deep as hibernation, but it's the same concept where an animal is lowering their basal metabolic rate and also lowering their body temperature. And this is a method for conserving energy. In Indonesia, actually the temperatures drop pretty low, and it's because we're at such high altitude. And in Java specifically, below 800 meters, there's almost no forest. So only 9% of Java is still rainforest. They're just getting pushed up higher and higher as humans are expanding agriculturally.
Lower front teeth pointing forward form a rough comb in their arc. These clean the fur where encrusted and scrape the resins from bark. Although the tongue's used for tasting, there is a part underneath tipped with hard horn-like protrusions that clean the front pointing teeth. Slow loris.
The interviews were intended to be excerpted and inserted into a bigger documentary, so they don't make a ton of sense without context. Still, I am going to publish one of the full-length interviews I did. It's with Dr. Anna Nakaris. That'll be next episode, and I'll do an introduction and everything. In the meantime, if you're interested in finding out more about the slow loris, look up the Little Fireface Project. Okay, until next week, I am Nick Jackson. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.